Hello everyone, so welcome to my fourth slide video presentation. In this video presentation, I'm going to introduce you about the issues in research. Okay, so let's go. At the end of this slide video presentation, all of you are expected to identify purposes of research, identify stages in the research project, and also find out some preliminary considerations before you start your research. Alright, good, thank you. Next, what is the purpose of the research? Why we conduct research? Who can answer this? I give you a few seconds to answer these questions by your own. Okay, so what is your definition of, so what is your purpose of the research? How can you identify purposes of the research? This is some suggested from the expert or from the authors. So first we have to contribute the model or the format or example to a particular discipline, to the company or the school or hospital, so on. Okay, and the second purpose is to inform policy, to make a policy, for example policy on housing, crime, education, real estate, so on, that we have to release your policy after your conduct the research and you have come up with the finding. You have to present your finding to the public. Okay, and the third one is to identify a specific issue or problem, such as the taking children or in a local school, okay, for example. So next is to present the outcomes of the research. When you have a research finding, before your publication, you have to present to your supervisor, present to the audience, and also the public. And also, especially, you have to share new method or idea found in your research to next generations, to next learners or researchers. Contribution to a research. So research can be seen as the inquiry designed to contribute to a discipline-based knowledge, which is come from the outcome or finding of doing or conducting a research through educational setting, if you are in that field. Or if you are not in that field, it can be company or factory, environments or space search, so on. So you can conduct a research from those discipline-based knowledge. Next, pure research. What is the pure research? So pure research is undertaken for the sake of the knowledge without any intention to apply it in practice. For example, I can give you an example. You look at the Einstein. You know Einstein? So Einstein theory of relativity. Yeah. អានេះគេហៅថាសិក្សាទៅលើទ្រឹស្ដីរបស់ Einstein ទៅលើទំនាញ បាទទំនាក់ទំនងទំនាញ Einstein. Also Newton contribution and Galileo contribution. That is the pure research. And pure research is also known as the basic of fundamental research. And it is undertaken out of intellectual curiosity or inquisitiveness. A pure research also necessary problem-oriented, and its objective is to extend the knowledge. Okay, so here by Robsons, 1993, page 430. How about the action research? What is the action research? Action research is about diagnosing, finding out specific problem in your area, in your field. Okay, Now I look at I'm choosing the one context, one situation, that educational setting. So with the educational setting, you can see some student barrier, language barrier, or the study performance barrier. Okay, so you have to look at the here, pupil absence, learning and teaching problems, so on. Okay, very action research. So action research, you have to diagnose, look at the problem and give solution. Action research, according to Chemist 1986, is simply a form of self-reflective inquiry undertaken by participants in social situations in order to improve the rationality and justice of their own practices, their understanding of these practices and the situations in which these practices are carried out. So Cars and Chemist 1986. We have to you understand the self-reflective inquiry. What does it mean, self-reflective inquiry? For example, you are a teacher and you are teaching one class. So you have to observe the something happening in the class in a normal way. Like the student English speaking barrier. Why or what make them cannot speak? So that is action research should be conducted in. So you have to observe, you have to reflect by your own. It is because of the student themselves, or this is because of your teaching methodology or teaching method, or how to prepare a lesson not effectively. So otherwise you have to think, you have to reflect your plan of the teaching in the classroom. Okay. So action research. In action research, practitioners play important roles or active roles in designing the project, collecting data, and also implement change. Implement change. So you should know about that. Action research. You have to start with you have to plan. What are you going to plan with this? So you have to identify the problem, the problem that you plan to solve it, and after planning, you have to take an action by looking at the population or participants should be involved. Who are you going to collect the data from? Okay, who are you going to collect the data from? Analyzing and also come to conclusion of your action research. After that, you have to do evaluation. Okay, you have to do evaluation. What is your evaluation? You have to look back the process of you collect the data, and also look at your research objective, research topic, research the statement of the problem, research objective, and also research question that I mentioned the previous slide with our presentation. Okay, so this is very important. And action research, as a researcher, you have to identify the diverse range of the setting that you are going to conduct action research in. So like, for example, hospital, school, companies, so on, that the place you can apply the action research in. Okay, and the action research for the data collection method should be observation, interview, questionnaire, test, documentary, or experiment tool that you can apply all. And I think you don't know how to observe in order to collect the data, how to interview to collect the data, how to deliver the questionnaire in order to get back information or data from your participant or population. And the next slide, we are going to study about how to observe, how to interview, how to set up the questionnaire, how to deliver a questionnaire, so on and so forth. Okay. So action research is a research which has a key goals of looking for a new process, a new way, and uh, in order to bringing about social change or practical action, if we compare with the other research that wants to want to seek to discover scientific principle or develop general laws or theories. Okay, it's very simple. It's very simple for the action research. Okay. Next, let me talk about the educational setting. As a teacher, because a teacher initiated classroom research, which seeks to improve the teaching understanding, improve teacher teaching methodology, improve teacher assessment. Okay, assessment. So that's the reason why the teachers should conduct or have to conduct a small scale action research in the classroom. Um, my suggestion is that when you work any for any sector, private or public sector, look at it, at the problem that always happening at your workplace, at school, so on. So list them down, and then you can choose the action research. Okay, you can choose action research to find out the solution by planning, by taking action, evaluation, and also replan again. Okay. All right. Good. Next, what is the evaluation? Evaluation is not a research. Okay. Evaluation is a study carried out to assess the important points or usefulness of the particular services or policy or the other intervention. Okay. It can be a general concept, that we can use to, a systematic gathering of information for analyzing the purposes of variable of a situation or phenomena in order to make a decision. Okay, in order to make decision for the public use or for the company or any institution use. So that's why we just use the term evaluation. For example, annually the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport always organize the national grade 12 exams, and that provide a very strict condition or strict rule all the students when they take the national final exams or baduk or high school exams here. And after doing this, we have a unit, or we have a body to conduct a research, to conduct a evaluation evaluation in order to come to the conclusion that how effective or qualified that we use this tool, this rule, this plan, this structure to control, to manage all the student while doing the exams. Okay, that the evaluation. Okay, evaluation. And also, if you work for the non-organization international organization fund, after expensing all the fund that donated by the other tycoon or millionaire, and the researcher project manager have to conduct a study in order to evaluate the tool, evaluate the conclusion, evaluate the impacts of the project. Should we request more fund in order to carry out all these projects, or we have to stop? Okay, that's the evaluation. Okay. In language planning, evaluation frequently involves gathering information on patterns of language use or language ability or attitude of the language users. that is language planning for evaluation. In short, evaluation is defined in a different way regarding the situation or setting that evaluation is used for. So here, what are the stages in the research? We have the several stages. So the researcher should understand or should know the stages that we should when we conduct a research. So the first stage is you have to choose your problem, identify the problem again and again, choosing a focus for the research. Actually, when you start a research, you have to think about the focus. Yeah, you have to think about the focus, and also if you are given a project, so you always been asked to carry out a specific project as a part of your job, and finally your focus will be already been done for you. So that is very easy. If not, you have to identify the problem. Okay, you identify the problems. The second, you have to look at the how to design your research. So all the research or most of the researchers, they think about the scope of the research and also the research objective, research question. They can choose the qualitative research or quantitative research. The reason why the researcher identifies research qualitative and quantitative because of or regarding how to collect the data. Okay, how to collect the data. As I mentioned earlier, you can use observation method, interviewing method, or questionnaire method, experiment or document to collect the data. So otherwise you have to identify clearly. Okay, clearly. Research data. Research design here. And then we move to the how to collect the data. Okay, or also data collection. This is the stage at which you carried out interview, observation, questionnaire, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, so from secondary data or primary data. All right. After you interview, after you observe, after you provide a questionnaire, you have to analyze the data. Okay, in order to write up the conclusion of your research. And after that, data analysis, analyze the data you get from. Okay, and also finally you have to write up the results. Okay, so what is your conclusion of that? And also writing up the result is the final stage of the research. The researcher have to do about what he or she finds in his or her research paper. Okay. So look at some preliminary consideration before you start your research. Here some point you have to take note. One, you have to find out resource. What is the resource? You need resource. You cannot do research without fund. Okay. So what finance or equipment is available? You have in your hands. You have cooperative partners. You have donors. You have institutions that can support physical support and mental support, and also financial support. Okay. And look at about the time available. So you have to clarify when you need to report and plan your time accordingly when you finish your research. Okay. Next, accessibility of the sample. So are those you wish to speak to likely to want to speak to you? This is how to collect the data and how you work with the people. So are they available to provide you some information or data that you wish? Okay. And also the last and also is the ethical issue. Here identify your understanding of common sense of the research subject. So do you think your understand of the subject here remain the ethical to the other researcher, okay, to other researcher. You cannot copy the finding and to be yours, okay. So this is the end of the slide video presentation, and the reference is from Richard, okay. All right. So thank you very much for paying my attention to my slide video presentation. And so please look at my handout, okay, in the e-learning platform. So thank you and hope you do it well, okay. Thank you. See you next time.